All right, hello there. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith with an update on Delta, a tropical storm, as well as Tropical Storm Gamma. Both systems are down near the Yucatan, but it's Delta in the Caribbean that's going to have a bigger impact, we think, on our local weather pattern and somewhere along the central Gulf Coast with landfall late in the week, most likely as a hurricane. So this is a significant update for you to be tuning into here on Facebook. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith here in the Storm Tracker Center as we're getting ready for Fox 10 News at 4 o'clock. And taking a look at the satellite picture on this, you really don't see much with the Gamma, but it's Delta that's very prominent and undergoing some intensification, some significant intensification down near the Cayman Islands in Jamaica this afternoon and this evening. It's headed for the Yucatan Passage and then ultimately the Gulf of Mexico. Here is what we're seeing with that system. And zooming in here, this is the latest on Delta. It is currently a 60-mile-per-hour system, so it is tracking to the west at 7. It's gotten a lot stronger after being a minimal tropical storm earlier today. The forecast track shows it becoming a hurricane by tomorrow. It'll pass the Caymans and head towards the western tip of Cuba, cross the Yucatan Passage, and then move up into the Gulf of Mexico. Beyond that time, looks like landfall is possible somewhere between Louisiana and the western Florida Panhandle. This is a completely different system than Sally. I know that it's human nature to compare and say, well, we didn't know what Sally was going to do exactly, so we don't really know what this one's going to do. And Sally was a real problem because it moves slow, and this is totally different. This is moving fast. It has a more certain forward speed and track because of the steering mechanisms that are in place. We don't see a weak steering environment here, and we don't expect it to move in and stall. It's going to move through quickly where it hits, and right now the cone is more narrow than Sally was at this point. I do think that Louisiana is a very likely scenario for possible landfall, but we'll be on the wet side of the system. I do expect it to weaken, though, as it gets towards the northern Gulf, so that's going to have an impact on it, too. Remember, Sally came through and churned up the nearshore waters. There's some upwelling there, so our water temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s. And we also are going to see a lot of wind shear when this thing gets to the northern Gulf Coast. So while it may ramp up big time over the Gulf and could be even a major hurricane over the central Gulf, it should weaken as it comes in. Hopefully, if it comes our way, it will be much weaker by the time it gets here. Now, this is a zoomed in look at the track and the timing. And based on this, we are thinking that Friday is the most likely time to see impacts. And you can see how quickly it moves from the northern Gulf to across the coast and then up inland by Saturday. It'll be about a one-day event total with whatever we see with Delta. And it's definitely going to be potentially a significant system. Gamma is getting sheared apart. It is not a significant system. It's hard to even see where this thing is. The center is off the Yucatan, but the convection's way north of it. Southerly shear, I don't think it'll last another 24 hours. In fact, the remnants may get sucked up into Delta. So Gamma might get taken over by the larger circulation of Delta as it moves to the north. Here are the computer models, and you can see the models are pretty tightly clustered on the Louisiana coast. The European is further to the west than these, but most of these say that it should come ashore. And also I want to point out that these models are in agreement here too. This is a pretty tight cluster for being so far away. So a lot of the models are saying the same thing, meaning this storm's going to ride around the ridge, and then a trough's going to develop in the eastern and central United States, and that's going to kick it back up to the north and northeast. So that's what we're expecting with the steering flow here on our tropical system on Delta. The European model, wanted to show you that. I got both the two systems circled here, and you can see Gamma is going to fall apart and then kind of get absorbed up by Delta. Then Delta, this is more of a westward solution, but again, the European straightens it up, brings it north across the Louisiana coast, not far away from New Orleans, and then pulls it up into Mississippi on Saturday. Very fast forward speed, and you can see we obviously get some impacts even with this more westward scenario. Pretty strong onshore flow, rough surf, riptides, all that type of stuff, possible isolated tornadoes in the northeast quadrant of the storm on Friday and into Saturday. I mean, I'll back it up a little bit here on the European, and you know, right there early Saturday morning, still getting a lot of rain, and then out of here as we head into the weekend. So that's a breakdown on what's going on. Coming up, I'll have a more on Fox 10 News at 4 p.m. I'll have a more in-depth look at this tropical system. There's still a lot of dry air across our area. There'll be some wind shear, and water temperatures are in the 70s, so it is likely that whatever happens with Delta, even if it gets really strong, it should begin to weaken as it comes in and not undergo some type of crazy intensification phase like Sally did. Totally different system. Fast forward speed that gives us a little less time to prepare, but at the same time it's going to be a different system as far as the impact, certainly as far as the certainty of the forecast track and also the duration of the winds. It's not going to sit and pound us forever. It's going to come in and it's going to get out of here, and we'll have scattered showers by Saturday and Sunday with lighter winds. So that's an update on what we're seeing right now on this tropical system. We'll keep going with updates here from time to time on Facebook. I'll have another one around 7 o'clock with that new advisory, but also I'll have full coverage